My sister didn't talk to me for 5 years. Not a single text message, not one birthday wish. Nothing. Complete silence. But when our grandmother died and left me her house, suddenly my phone wouldn't stop ringing. It was like magic. 5 years of nothing, and now she was calling me 3 times a day. Let me give you some context. 5 years ago, my sister Sarah married this guy named Richard. And when I say rich, I mean really rich. The kind of rich where you have a personal driver and a house with 6 bathrooms and a swimming pool that nobody uses. When they got married, Sarah decided that our family wasn't good enough for her new lifestyle. She stopped coming to family dinners. She stopped answering my calls. When I texted her, she would reply with one word, or sometimes not at all. When our mom got sick last year with breast cancer, do you know what Sarah did? She sent flowers. That's it. Just flowers. A big, expensive bouquet with a card that said, "Get well soon." She didn't visit the hospital. She didn't come to the house to help. She didn't even call to ask how the chemotherapy was going. My brother and I took turns sleeping at the hospital for 3 months. Sarah was too busy with her charity galas and brunches with her rich friends. 2 months ago, our grandmother passed away. She was 89 years old, and she was the sweetest woman in the world. She used to bake cookies every Sunday and tell us stories about the war. And guess what? She left me her house. Not Sarah, me. The house isn't huge, but it's in a really good area, worth about $300,000. It's the house where we grew up, where we spent every Christmas. Grandma left it to me because, as she wrote in her letter, you were the one who was always there. When Sarah found out, she called me within 2 hours. The first thing she said wasn't, I'm sorry for your loss. It wasn't, how are you doing? Are you okay? No. The first thing she said was, we need to talk about the house. This isn't fair. I couldn't believe it. I told her, Sarah, you haven't spoken to me in 5 years. Now you want to talk? She said, don't be dramatic. Family is family. Grandma would have wanted us to share. The next day, she came to my apartment with her husband, Richard. They walked in like they owned the place, sat on my couch, and started talking about property values and market rates. Sarah said the house should be split 50-50 because we're sisters. I reminded her where this family was when Mom was throwing up from chemotherapy. I reminded her about the flowers. She got angry. She said I was being petty and holding grudges. Her husband, Richard, even hinted that they might take legal action if I don't cooperate, whatever that means. I kicked them out. I literally walked to the door, opened it, and told them to leave. I told Sarah that she made her choice 5 years ago when she decided that money made her better than us. The house is mine. Grandma gave it to me because I visited her every single weekend. I brought her groceries. I fixed her leaky faucet. I sat with her when she was lonely. Sarah was too busy with her fancy parties and her designer handbags. Now my parents are saying I should give her something to keep the peace. They say she's still family and that holding on to anger isn't healthy. But I don't want to. She abandoned us when we needed her most. Why should I reward her now? Am I the asshole for keeping the house that my grandmother left me and telling my sister to deal with her choices?
My coworker stole my presentation and got a promotion. So I made sure his next brilliant idea cost the company $50,000. And somehow I'm the bad guy now? Everyone in the office is saying I went too far. But I think he destroyed his own career when he decided to steal from me. Let me explain what happened. I work in marketing at a mid-sized tech company. 3 months ago, we got a huge new client. We're talking about a contract worth $2 million annually. I spent 2 weeks preparing the perfect campaign presentation, and I worked late every night. I missed my best friend's birthday party. I worked through weekends, eating cold pizza at my desk, doing market research, creating graphics, writing copy. I was proud of what I made. It was the best work I'd ever done. 2 days before the big presentation to the client and the board, my coworker Mike came to my desk. He's one of those guys who's always smiling and giving back slaps, but you can tell it's fake. He said he wanted to review my work to give feedback. I was hesitant, but he was senior to me, so I shared the files on the company drive. The next morning, I tried to access the files to practice my presentation, and they were gone. Deleted. I panicked. I checked the recycle bin. I checked my backups. I checked everything. Gone. I ran to Mike's office, and he was very sympathetic. He said, "Oh no, that's terrible. Maybe it was a system error. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll figure something out." He patted me on the shoulder and wished me luck. I had to tell my boss that I lost the files. I was humiliated. I stayed up for 36 hours straight trying to recreate everything from memory, but it wasn't the same. It was rushed and messy. The next day, Mike presented to the board, and guess what he presented? My campaign, word for word. My graphics, my strategy, my tagline. He even used my jokes. The boss loved it. The client signed the contract immediately. Mike got a $10,000 bonus and a promotion to senior manager. I got a maybe next time pat on the back and was told to be more careful with my files. I was furious, but I had no proof. The files were deleted, and Mike was now everyone's golden boy. So I waited, I watched, and I noticed something. Mike started getting lazy. He stopped doing his own research because he knew he could just take credit for other people's work. He would walk around the office, look over people's shoulders, and ask, "What you working on?" He was hunting for his next victim. So I set a trap. I started working on a new project very loudly. I talked about it near his desk. I left confidential documents on my screen when I went to lunch. I printed out fake research reports and left them on my desk. The project looked amazing. It was a campaign for a fake luxury car brand that didn't exist. I made up market data showing huge demand. I created beautiful mock-ups. The numbers were incredible. $50,000 in projected revenue in the first month alone. Mike took the bait. 3 weeks later, he presented my fake project to the board as his own revolutionary idea. He was so confident. He promised them $50,000 in revenue. He convinced them to approve the budget immediately. They started the campaign, hired photographers, rented locations, spent money left and right. It took them 3 weeks to realize the car brand was fictional. The website I made was fake. The market research was completely made up. The product didn't exist. $50,000 down the drain. The board was furious. Mike was fired on the spot. Not just fired, but the company's now suing him for negligence and fraud. But here's the thing. My other coworkers found out what I did. Someone saw me creating the fake documents, and now everyone knows. They're saying I went too far, that I should have just reported him the first time. That destroying someone's career over a stolen presentation is psycho behavior. That I cost the company $50,000 just to get revenge, but I think he cost the company $50,000 when he decided to steal from me. I was protecting future victims. Am I the asshole for setting him up and making sure he couldn't hurt anyone else?
My neighbor has been using my swimming pool for 3 months while I'm at work. I found out because of a floating plastic dinosaur toy. When I confronted him, he said, "It's just water, relax." So I installed cameras and posted the footage on our community Facebook page. Now his wife is divorcing him, and the whole neighborhood hates me. They're saying I destroyed his family over a little swim. Am I the asshole? Let me give you the full picture. I bought this house 6 months ago. It's a nice suburban neighborhood, quiet street, big yards. The house came with a beautiful swimming pool in the backyard. Nothing fancy, just a standard rectangular pool, but it's mine. I work a regular 9 to 5 job at an accounting firm, so I'm not home during the day. I leave at 8 in the morning and get back around 6 in the evening. For the first 3 months, everything was normal. I enjoyed my weekends by the pool, grilling, reading books. Then I started noticing weird things. First, it was small stuff. The pool chemicals were running out faster than they should. I thought maybe I was just using more than I realized. Then I noticed wet footprints on my deck when I came home from work. Not my footprints, bigger ones. And there was a floating toy in the pool, a green plastic dinosaur. I don't have kids. I don't have toys. Where did it come from? I checked my security cameras, but they only covered the front door. The backyard was blind, so last month I bought a cheap wireless camera and pointed it at the pool area, just to see what was happening. Maybe it was animals, maybe the wind blew the toy in. The first day I checked the footage, I almost dropped my phone. Every single day at exactly 2 p.m., my neighbor from across the street, his name is Dave, jumps my fence with his 2 kids. He brings a bag with towels and snacks. They swim for exactly 2 hours. He teaches his son how to dive. His daughter plays with that green dinosaur. They have full-on pool parties in my backyard while I'm working. Sometimes he even brings a portable speaker and plays music. I watched 3 weeks of footage. 3 weeks of him using my pool, my electricity for the pool pump, my chemicals, my water. He even used my pool floaties. One day, he brought his coworker and his coworker's kids. There were 6 people in my pool, 6 strangers. He told them to make themselves at home. Yesterday, I knocked on Dave's door. I was calm. I showed him the footage on my phone. I told him, Dave, you've been trespassing on my property for months. This needs to stop immediately, or I'm calling the police. You know what he did? He laughed. He actually laughed in my face. He said, Come on, buddy, be a good neighbor. It's just water. The kids love it. You're never home anyway, so why let it go to waste? It's not like you're using it. I told him it was my properties and my pool. He said, Don't be so selfish. We're a community. We share. When I insisted he stop, he got angry. He said if I call the cops, he'll tell everyone in the neighborhood that I'm a miserable jerk who hates children. He said he'll make sure nobody ever talks to me again. He said I would be the most hated person on the street. So I did it. I posted all the videos on our community Facebook page, all of them, 3 months of footage. I wrote, To my neighbor Dave, who thinks my property is his personal water park, please stop trespassing. I've asked you nicely. Next time, I'm pressing charges. I tagged him in the post. The post exploded. It got 200 comments in 2 hours. Turns out, Dave's wife didn't know he was taking the kids swimming there every day. She thought he was taking them to the public pool like he told her. She also found out from the comments that one day he invited his female coworker and her kids, just the 2 of them, while his wife was at work. Now she's filing for divorce. She's taking the kids and moving to her mother's house. Other neighbors are calling Dave a creep and a thief. But some people are saying I went too far. They say I should have just called the police privately instead of humiliating him publicly. They say I destroyed his family over a little swim, that I should have been more understanding because kids need to swim and it's hot outside. but he gave me no choice when he refused to stop and threatened to ruin my reputation in the neighborhood. I tried to be nice. I tried to be reasonable. He laughed at me. Am I the asshole for exposing him and posting the videos online